And welcome, Minister. Item number 1, Senator Billy Lawless.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. I thank the Minister for your attendance here today on this very important topic. In February of this year, the Department of Foreign Affairs published the Indicon Economic Report on addressing challenges faced by returning Irish immigrants. In that report, which I am delighted to see the Minister for Diaspora committed to implementing in full, they found that their independent research shows that payment of fees is a significant issue for the diaspora community abroad. Over 40% of respondents in this study indicated that the issue of third-level fees was a factor in their decision not to return to Ireland. On foot of these findings and representations received, the report recommended that consideration is given to means-tested grant system for first-time, third-level education for children of Irish or EU citizens. Some of the criteria which the report suggests include that it should only apply to cases where the parents are Irish EU citizens, have lived in Ireland for 15 or more years, and would have financial difficulties in funding their children's university education in Ireland. These are common sense proposals, Minister. The report also found that there is merit in considering a wider eligibility for EU fees for children of Irish immigrants. It was also further suggested that there may be potential to expand the existing Government of Ireland international educational scholarships to assist those who are not eligible for European Union fees. Cathaoirleach, I would be grateful if the Minister could answer 3 questions relating to all of the above. Firstly, will the Minister be able to implement these recommendations? Secondly, do any of these recommendations require primary or secondary legislation in order to implement? And thirdly, what timeline does the Minister envisage for the implementations of these recommendations? Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you, Senator. Minister.
Thank you very much. And Senator Lawless, thanks very much for putting this down today as a commencement matter. And I will try and answer your 3 questions through my answer. So the position at present, and as you know, is that in order to qualify for funding towards tuition fees, students must be first-time undergraduates, hold inter alia EU, EEA or Swiss nationality in their own right, and have been ordinarily resident in an EU, EEA or Swiss state for at least 3 of the 5 years preceding their entry to approved third-level courses. Where undergraduate students do not qualify for free fees, they are required to pay fees to their higher education institution at either an EU rate or a higher non-EU rate. The Department has responded previously to concerns about the impact of the free fees eligibility criteria on individuals who have had, for occupational or economic reasons, to move abroad, requiring them to take their children out of the Irish education system in the process. And to this end, in March 2014, that was 2014, the Department of Education and Skills requested that the HEA advise the higher education sector that full-time undergraduate students who hold EU, EEA, Swiss nationality but do not meet the residency clause of the free fees initiatives and have completed 5 academic years of study at either primary or post-primary level in an EU, EEA, Swiss state and commenced their undergraduate course of study in an approved institution here from the following academic year onwards, that they should be charged an EU rate of fee rather than the higher non-EU rate by their higher education institutions. This approach was implemented for new students from the commencement of the 2014-15 academic year. It is a matter for the institutions to apply this policy to such students, and I am not aware of any particular issue arising from the implementation of this policy. It is important to recognise that higher education institutions are autonomous bodies, and the Department has a limited role in the day-to-day running of the institution's operational affairs. In particular, it is an issue for higher education institutions in the first instance to determine the level of fee applicable to particular programmes or to particular elements of academic programmes. The student contribution, which currently stands at €3,000, applies to all students who benefit under the Department Free Fees Initiative. This student contribution is paid by the Exchequer in respect of students who qualify under the Department's third-level grant scheme. Tax relief is also available for second and subsequent siblings to alleviate the costs for families for approved courses or at approved colleges of higher education. And in early 2018, as you have referenced, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade commissioned an economic report on addressing challenges faced by returning Irish emigrants. This report, which was undertaken by Endicon, identified education, along with other issues such as driving licences, health insurance, etc., as one of a number of factors influencing the return of Irish emigrants. The report made a number of recommendations to address education-related barriers in relation to third-level education as follows: to consider the means-tested third-level grant for children of Irish emigrants, and to introduce increased flexibility for EU postgraduate fees. I will be shortly meeting, and I have spoken to them, but we will be having a formal meeting with Minister Coveney, Minister Donoghue and Minister Cannon to discuss these proposals in detail, and Minister Cannon will also be reporting to Cabinet in the coming months. The Department will consider the recommendations of the report in the context of a broader programme of higher education funding reform. However, it is important to recognise that in implementing the free fee scheme and the student grant scheme, the Department needs to be conscious of the need for consistency in how individuals are treated, and also the potential financial and other policy implications arising from any specific proposals to make changes. I would like to thank the Senator for affording me the opportunity to respond to the House. So, in answer to the three questions you asked me, will we be able to implement? What I'm saying to you is that I am meeting the ministers. We're taking this very seriously, and the Department is scoping it out. Do they require primary or secondary legislation? I really have to check that out, Senator Lawless. And the timeline, that meeting is going to take place with the ministers after Easter, and I know that Minister Cannon will be reporting to the Cabinet in a few months. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Senator?
Yeah, thank you very much, Minister. And knowing that you're in education yourself, you understand the implications of this. The thing about it as well, there are only really a small number of people, so we really should be able to handle them. And in many of the cases, by the way, a lot of the parents who have gone over, say, from intercompany transfers or whatever, are high achievers. Their kids, a lot of them are high achievers as well, and would actually qualify for scholarships in the United States, but they can't avail of them because they're not American citizens. And then they come back here as Irish citizens, and they're penalised here as well. It's not fair, Minister. So, and there was also a suggestion as well, as you do know, and I do know that the universities are autonomous in their own right. I understand that as well. But we are still subsidising a lot of the universities in this country. We should be looking at a scholarship scene as well for those individuals coming home. And there are cases where they really cannot afford to send their children to university. That is not right. And it's, again, as I stated, It's only a small number, but I thank you for your concern, and I do know that you have a personal interest in this, and thank you for your response. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, I'm just going to leave what I've said. Yeah. We will report back. As I said, he will be coming to Cabinet. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you, Senator.